All right, today we're going to jump into some altcoins that are actually being, I think, driven through this whole situation with ETH gas fees and kind of where ETH 2.0 could be going, but it's all tied into this thing called the metaverse. And you're going to get a chance to see all this good stuff today. My name is Paul Barron. Welcome back to Tech Path. Let's jump into three big projects. You guys will recognize these names, and that is AVAX, Avalanche, Fantom, which we know and love, and then, of course, Terra Luna. Terra Luna and AVAX, Fantom, all three have something very in common, and that is they are all attacking the weaker side of Ethereum right now, I feel like, and that is around the whole issue of gas fees. This first story, Ethereum killers, metaverse tokens seen as the next millionaire makers. This was a nice piece over on NASDAQ. And I kind of like what the writer was really going into about when you look at just overall the surge that we've seen just in the past year with Solana, Polygon. Those were dubbed pretty much the Ethereum killers. We've seen that party, just continuing to roll on. Ethereum does need to kind of address this because they are in a situation right now. Granted, ETH 2.0 is going to solve a lot of these issues, and it is somewhat around the corner. If you think about if ETH does hold true, the likelihood of seeing that hit in 2022 could be a big deal if it's executed on time in early 2022. So that will definitely put it up there. But the key is there are three different projects that are really accelerating, and that, of course, is Avalanche, Fantom, and Terra. This is very interesting. Avalanche, Fantom, and Terra deliver strong gains as their network brings innovative ways to solve problems, obviously on the proof of stake. Avalanche, you guys know we've reported on this before, stems from their new tech, basically called the acyclic graphs, which is a DAG. And this essentially is kind of their secret sauce. DAGs nodes will validate, they eliminate the probability that one dominant node or a miner can happen in a proof of stake blockchain, and it will control the process. So that's one of the big reasons that Avalanche has really kind of accelerated. Plus Avalanche Rush, they really got out there and moved heavily into the space trying to get developers. So another reason that Avalanche continues to move in a great position. We'll talk about the charts here in a bit. But Fantom, meanwhile, is using a similar mechanism. They call this a leachis. And this is a smaller circulation supply that would help prop up its Fantom token, future price, analysts say, built for decentralized dApps. Transactions occur in less than 2 seconds, and this compares to the reported 5 minutes or as high as 4 hours on Ethereum. You might want to spell that right. And then up to 14,000% in the past year in terms of growth. Fantom could gain another 4 to 5x in the foreseeable future, according to this analyst. And he also likes Terra, and this is notes just a good job at solving the current stablecoin dilemma, proving a network on one-to-one crypto fiat scenarios and reserves. And we've talked about Terra Luna before here on the channel. Matter of fact, we just did a video about Luna and why it's moving in this direction, why Luna, the coin, is so well poised at what's happening with Terra, the company, and what is happening over there with Do Kwon. I think they're really kicking it in terms of the future. He does put a little dig in here on Cardano, which I think is just one of those things that people are really big fans of Cardano. Him, not necessarily. Many of these projects have had a little bit of a stumbling block, even when you look at what's happened down to Solana, who also experienced a little bit of hiccups during their little bit of outage during that beta period that also hit them. But with all that, you've got things happening over here on Voyager with AVAX. So Steve Ehrlich said last week the company intends to make NFTs on multiple platforms accessible to its users in 2022. One of the ways is going through the deal with Avalanche to include transfer staking of the AVAX token into its brokerage platform. This will be a big deal, I think, for not only AVAX, Avalanche, but also for Voyager, because this is something that we continue to see on Voyager. Some projects you cannot necessarily do transfers out of, and some definitely you're not definitely going into the way of really moving into staking and the DeFi side as well as NFTs. So the rise of gas fees, also reaffirming what they're talking about here, continues to affect Ethereum and Ethereum-based apps. Avalanche makes a perfect partner for Voyager as it's a cost-efficient way to compatible with the EVM. And the big thing is they are really looking forward to trying to do something with NFTs. So I think this, along with what's happening with Avalanche in general, is a big deal of how this particular project is going to continue to fly. And if you've been watching Avalanche over the last few days, you've seen and heard a lot in terms of its flying off the charts, possibly going to hit the $100 mark here very soon. We've covered Avalanche with John Woo here a couple times on this show, and really early on when Avalanche was, I think, under 10 bucks. But the whole point is that we saw a lot in the early stage of what they were doing that was eventually going to roll out and really create a new ecosystem, and they have done it. So kudos to them. If you guys are into Avalanche and you are a current Avalanche only, kudos to you. We'll do these market movers from time to time. The idea is we're going to give you data like this. We'll do some research, pull together our own analysis, and then, of course, remember, this is not investment advice. It is hopefully helping you understand this technology and the innovation that's happening in the space. But do your own research and get out there and understand where you're going with on this. Let me move on to Fantom, which is the one that I think is very intriguing here. And they kind of have moved on to Fantom Starter, which Fantom Starter is part of, kind of like a Polka Starter, if you know much about what is happening over on Polka Starter, or if you think about it almost in the essence of what's happening with projects like, not exactly, but projects like the auction side with parachains with Polkadot and Kusama. Fantom has kind of gone in this direction. And if you look at where they're going, invest or raise capital, so this is going to really, I think, entice the right kind of developers in terms of growing with this, as well as the investors coming into this. Pretty decent companies here. You've got Banter Capital, if you guys know the guys over at Crypto Banter, Signal Capital, and Anchor, all really good, solid projects. And I think this is going to be one that, again, only bolsters what's happening over on Fantom. And I think this is going to be the thing. Here's the story right here. Fantom Starter offers GameFi projects, insider access to Metaverse on Fantom. So you can kind of see here, blockchain gaming, growing in the digital metaverse are now easier to navigate thanks to the Fantom Starter. This is where this is going to play into the whole scenario. This is one thing I want you guys to be very aware of, is these kinds of projects are going to continue to evolve, and we're going to see a lot more movement, both from Avalanche, Fantom, and then also Luna or Terra, in the sense of we're going to see this hybrid approach toward NFTs, but also this approach going into the metaverse. And I think that is going to be the key with many of these projects, as you know that they are toiling like crazy trying to build applications and formats in which the metaverse can be plugged into what they're trying to do within their ecosystem. So very cool with Fantom Starter. Digital integration, every facet of modern day life is nearly complete. Over the past 40 years, the gaming industry has evolved from being an isolated pocket of dedicated individuals. Now this is an absolutely unbelievable market, probably the largest market on the planet right now. 170 billion is what the value is in 2020. So you can kind of see what the future opportunity here is going to be with projects like Fantom and what they're trying to do, along with the situation of the gas fees. And if you just kind of look here, it's precisely these factors that makes Fantom Network the ideal blockchain for the gaming industry, as it theoretically is infinite in its terms of scalability. Fast settlement, so you've got low cost, which is a big factor if we're going to start implementing, if they start implementing a lot of this into the metaverse. Those are going to be the key cornerstones of being able to have a really good blockchain that can run at lightning speed, no pun for lightning, into the metaverse. And I think Fantom is one of those that I continued to really kind of, I think I've miscalled Fantom in the essence. We were still very bullish on it. I just wasn't bullish enough on where this project was going. Rapidly growing ecosystem, home to some of the most popular new dApps out there, DeFi and NFTs such as Geist Finance, Pump Kittens, and recently the launch of the 370 million FTM incentive program. This is going to be the thing that drives people into this space in terms of developers, which is only going to increase innovation in and over the area. I don't want to make this one too long because you saw our, and I would just say check out our video on Luna, because we did a full video on Luna, understanding, I don't want to rehash it, of why Luna was moving and what the potential future of Luna could be. And Luna is definitely in the right spot just because of their relationship with Arrington Capital, what they're doing on the Anchor protocol. Don't forget the protocols that ride under Luna that are having massive effect on the blockchain in terms of application use. Remember, we're trying to paint together a picture and kind of these dominoes and connecting the dots of these companies, because there's a lot of moves happening in the space right now that are basically setting up the guardrails of what's going to happen in the next few years, especially during the bear market. We're going to start seeing a lot of these companies really come out of their shell and blow past all expectations that we could even imagine for what's going to happen. So let's get into the charts. And I want to just show you, this one of course is AVAX right here. We're looking at their current chart. And you'll look back here, the last time we scored them was in mid-October. Sentiment was running around 65.90, an AMP 64, which is a soft amplification score in comparison. And you can kind of see the sideways action. And then of course this little fall off right here where we had that push out. Sentiment though, during this period, even though we had moderate, let me see what that change was from right there. Let's go and take a look here on my ruler. I just want to see what that movement was, if I can get my ruler to work right here. All right, so that was right at 39%. So it was a nice move, and that's a good reason that we saw this groove kind of develop right here with the sentiment at 71.35, which was up considerably from the 65 point. And amplification is where it flipped. This right here is when it occurred, 72.05. This was on October 27th. A lot of things happened right there for Avalanche, and then sure enough, our indices started to paint this out. We missed it a little bit right here, which was this little bump right here, which took it to, looks like the $83 mark. That was on November 4th. We came back in line in here, held strong, a little bit high or a little bit low right here, but we did have it coming into this dip, which is what happened on that correction. And right now it is adjusting. Now I wouldn't call it a retracement since it's trading right at $83, $84 right now, but definitely on the market in terms of upward trends here for AVAX. So good stuff with AVAX. Again, I think a lot of this is just because of the ecosystem is starting to develop, and we're starting to see some pressure from the gas fees on Ethereum. And I think this is going to be a problem for Ethereum as they go down the home stretch. My concern is, will it start to slow Ethereum's growth potentially, or will we see the flip side on people anticipating ETH 2.0? I think we'll see the flip side, because they are so deep into the ecosystem, first mover positioning, all that good stuff. But you can't win unless you have really great competition to push you. I think Avalanche, Fantom, and Luna are going to be the ones to look at. Let's go ahead and look at Fantom real quick, and we'll do the same thing here. Same kind of scenario. We scored this one back in October early, 74.59 and a 74.61. Wasn't a flip, but it was definitely very close to one, and we did see the movement upwards on the chart, and really great performance. We pulled back in and grabbed another sentiment credential on the 4th of November, 74.55 and 74.63. This is a flip. So this, I think, is where we're going to start to see some movement right here with Fantom. So we could see a high right here on Fantom at around the 392 mark, and low looking like early December somewhere around the 265 mark. So right where it's about trading right now. So that's kind of the low end. Definitely some movement here happening with Fantom as well. Good stuff there. We did the chart on Luna the other day, and it is absolutely on point. When we pulled this chart, I think we did the video right about here around October 30th-ish, and our chart was literally out in front, and it's painting through it right now and holding. Look at that activity though, lots of action up and down, but staying within the zone. This is an example of how sentiment and amplification indices work on the charts for us. We paint that data over the top of the price charts and are able to help get some sort of forward-looking indicator on how things are going. Sentiment and amplification, very important on all of these kind of projects. So you can kind of see this one here, of course, overperformed 71.24 and then the 71.97, which really kind of indicated our growth right here that we've started to see on this particular project. So good thing is that if you're in any of these projects, you're sitting pretty right now, you're in the right spot. Question will be are these going to have a chance to 3x from here, 5x from here? I'm still very strong on Avalanche. I think Avalanche, even though it's been performing dramatically over the past week, I still feel there is absolute explosions waiting to happen with John Wu and what his team is doing at Ava Labs. I think there's some stuff we ought to be watching out for with Avalanche, so keep your eyes on that one. I also want you to keep your eyes on Do Kwon, because he is, and this is Terra Luna, what they're trying to do over there and just the integration of what they've done with Arrington Capital. I think there's a lot of things brewing over there as well, so we've got to be very cautious and watching what's happening with Luna and that project, because I think that one is another one that could really start to fly. So we're going to keep our eyes on all this stuff for you guys. Of course, we'll continue to do analysis like this and really dive into the charts and really do these. We try to keep as many in the chart lockup as we can, pulling data all the time. The challenge is being able to keep them all running. As you guys know, there's 10,000 projects out there. We are diving into a lot more of the sub 1,000 tokens. And I know you guys have been asking for those videos. We're going to drop one of our DGen must-have kind of teasers. We'll try to get that out to you tomorrow. And then later this week, we're going to drop the portfolio that we've got that we're building right now that's less than 2 weeks old and has almost 5x'd in a very short period of time. So you want to stay tuned for all that. Make sure and get your notifications on, because you'll get the notification when we go live on those, and it's the best way, of course, you're going to be able to find new content here from us. If you're on the podcast, make sure and tune in over here on the YouTube channel. It's the #1 place you're going to find us for the charts that we just mentioned, and also getting involved in the Diamond Circle. Very easy to do, free to do, but also very rewarding, because we're going to start dropping more and more content to you that is member first. And then additionally, of course, you guys have already seen it. We give away tokens and all kinds of good digital assets here as well, also free. Have an idea for a show? Have an idea for us to track in terms of one of those DGen tokens? Drop it in the comments below or hit us up on Twitter. My name is Paul Barron. You can catch me out there. We'll see you next time right here on TechPath.